The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Our feel good topic of the day is the evolution of music media from vinyl to online streaming. And our feel good vibe of the day is joke time with Jackie, and we're back at it again. I'm going to try to guess the answers. Jackie's going to make us laugh either way, so do make sure you stick around for that. Before we get into all of that, let's see who's tuned in with us, Jackie, and get started with our feel good warm up of the day. It looks like we have Sean Smith. Good morning to you, Sean. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, audience, as you are joining, make sure you drop in the comments a good morning greeting to Jackie. And I see we have Rashida Godwin in here as well. Good morning to you, Rashida. Thank you for joining. And to all of our silent viewers that are watching, or our silent members of the audience, we appreciate you. It's okay if you don't want to comment. That's what Jackie and I are here for. We can talk for hours, to be quite honest with you. Jackie and I could definitely have just a conversation with the two of us. But we do want you all to engage with us. So let's get started with our feel good warm up of the day. What music, that could be genre, artist, song, or an album, have you been listening to this week? So if you didn't tune in to us last week, Jackie and I started a whole conversation around music, and it did really well. So we decided to bring it back once again. So Jack, you have to let the audience know, because we are music buffs. I would say that you and I both love music. So what have you been listening to since last episode, or the episode we talked about music till today? What have you been listening to?
So when I'm by myself, I listen to Her, H.E.R, if everybody doesn't know. And I always start off with the song Come Through. It's with her and Chris Brown. I love the song. I love it. It's, even the music video. So I first heard it and experienced it on YouTube with the music video, and just everything put together. That's how I fell in love with the song, because the music, the video, the story behind it, all of it. I'm like, can I play this song all the time? It actually took me back to how we used to make our voicemails.
Yes.
And I was just like, I would absolutely have this for my voicemail.
That's the song that I play on my voicemail before you actually hear my voice telling you to leave me a voicemail.
Yes. But if I also spent a lot of time with my cousins, and they partially grew up in the States, so I was listening to a lot of trap. And I don't really listen to trap because, I mean, I do, but I don't. I don't listen too much to the new trap. I don't know what they used to call it back in the day, but I guess it was still.
It was definitely trap. If you're talking about T.I. and that, it's still trap music.
Okay, so that's what I used to listen to, but I was listening to some new stuff, and I'm sitting there like, I still have to wait for the list to come through. I'm like, oh, I like this song. Who's this? What's that? I felt so old. They're like, really, Jack? Sit in the back seat and just chill. And I'm like, no, but I like this song.
Let me Shazam it. Let me Shazam it real quick.
I didn't think of that.
Shazam is my go-to. I actually want to come back to the audience before we talk a little bit about that, because I did want to talk about something that you brought up. So Nicholas Butterfield has been listening to Afro beats, and I have to say, Nick, you have to let us know what artists did you listen to over the last few weeks? Because we did ask the audience last week, drop some suggestions in the comments. And I actually did get one of our audience members to send me a link to Jungle. Because you know how we saw Jungle in the comments and I had no idea what Jungle was. And it is a mix between dancehall, reggae, and I want to say it was like, was it ESM type music? I can't remember. Look at that. Misha, I'm terrible. I apologize. But he did send me the link that I have to forward to Jackie so that we can experience it, so we can talk about it. Because one of the things Jackie and I would like to do is go back through some of those suggestions and let you all know our thoughts on it and get the audience to let us know their thoughts on the music as well. So we will drop the link to that Jungle music. I think it's a mix he sent me. So we'll definitely try to listen to that and come back in an upcoming episode to talk about jungle music. So if you have heard jungle music before, let us know in the comments. Drop any links you may have so that Jackie and I can enjoy. So it looks like Nicholas has been listening to a lot of Wizkid. And I can say,
sick.
Okay, so the song of the summer is Essence. Like, I don't know if it just is because it was a TikTok song that it's become popular, but it's become the song of the summer. And I feel like a lot of people are just now on this Wizkid's hype, whereas people probably were like, Nick, no, that Wizkid has way more.
So much. I remember that's actually one of these songs that, one of the people that we were watching on the weekend when I was hanging out with my cousin, just sitting off on the couch, clicking through YouTube. We were just like, oh my God, there were so many songs that we were going through, and we were just like, yo, I didn't know Wizkid did this. I didn't know. We just kept saying it. We were just like, hey, we're going to stop saying this because we watched and listened to 10 songs, and they're all here. So we just kept picking the next Wizkid. Like, did you know? Trivia time. Did you know?
Definitely. So I was listening to a bunch of Wizkid Afrobeats this last week. So the song that I found about a month ago now, by Davido, Shopping Through Chris Brown and Young Thug. I'm a big Young Thug fan. I'm actually a fan of a lot of Atlanta artists, the older ones, not the newer ones. So it shouldn't surprise you all when there's an Atlanta artist that I say I love, because that's definitely what it is. And so Spotify, I'm back on Spotify now. I didn't give up on Tidal, but I just feel like Spotify is like top tier when it comes to music suggestions and playlist curation. And so I had a radio started after the Shopping Spree song by Davido, and literally song after song after song after song after song, I was like, oh, I like this song. Oh, I like this song. Oh, I like this song. So I created a whole playlist based on the radio. So I came across a bunch of new Afrobeats artists that I never heard of. There was one artist who I believe was speaking French. I didn't understand a word he was saying, but it sounded like French. So
that must have sounded beautiful. Maybe, I was going to say, maybe he might be Haitian, but maybe not.
I don't know. I haven't Googled anyone yet. So my intention is to, I shared the list on my Instagram. So if you haven't checked it out on my Instagram story, check it out. I am going to do some research, and Jackie and I will decide when we're going to talk about this, because now we have given ourselves so much stuff to talk about on the show. And it looks like y'all love music as much as we do. So this is perfect for everyone involved. We have a comment here from Sean Smith, Jack.
Old school 80s, 90s R&B, gangster trap, UK garage, pop, soca, dancehall, techno, and neo. So it's a mix of selection of, on my flash drive I have plugged into my flat screen. Oh, that's okay.
That is. So I think it's also great to have, like Sean Smith, a variety of music, because sometimes you can like over listen to stuff and you like, all right, I'm over this now. I do that. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I rinse songs sometimes to the point where I am like over them. I have to like stop listening to them for a little while.
I do it until I can perform it perfectly. you know I perform
in her bathroom, in the shower.
That's why I love karaoke so much. It's a whole performance. One day when karaoke's back open, you're gonna understand. Like Akil gets to witness it.
I've seen some of the stuff you posted on your stories, or other people have posted on their stories of you, and I'm like, Jack is getting it in, like she's on stage as Beyonce or as Monica or as Brandy. I'm like, sis, it's just.
I remember I used to do it, right, and I used to do it up there. And did you know that PRC has an Instagram page? Because I found out when I got tagged, and I'm just like, oh, who is this? And I clicked, and I'm like, oh, Police Club. Click the story. I'm like, he got my whole Billie Jean performance.
That's the one. That's the one I saw. I was like, she is Michael Jackson right now. In her mind, she is Michael Jackson. And
I was so disappointed that I was just like, you know what, I'm going to have to listen to this song again because I was messing up the lyrics. And honestly, you never realize what the lyrics are until, well, I was remixing it.
This is what I'm saying. That's what we do. It's like, no, the artist got it wrong. I'm saying the right word. The artist got it wrong.
These are the words it should have been from the get-go anyway. You'll play it yourselves. I made it, but it should have been.
Exactly.
Okay, like, I'm just sitting here dissing, ruining Michael Jackson, the great Michael.
I don't think you ruined it, Jack.
Shame her.
I just definitely think, and we've seen that. I've seen that before. Actually, let us know in the comments. Have you ever had a moment where you're singing your favorite song and you got caught off guard because that's not the actual word that the artist said? Let us know in the comments. We're going to take a quick commercial break and then we'll be back with our feel-good topic of the day, which is the evolution of music media. So you do not want to go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. If you're just joining us, we're going to get ready to start our feel-good topic of the day, which is the evolution of music media. We're going from vinyl to online streaming. We're going to test your skills and help you learn some information or some things you didn't know about music media. So we first want to start off by getting everyone on the same foot. Now, when we say music media, we're talking about audio formats, and we're talking about the way that music is stored onto a device or a way for you to access music. So we're not talking all things music. We're specifically talking about media. And one of the first questions we wanted to ask, we want to take it back because when we did this episode, when we first brought up the topic around music, we had people that were talking about things like vinyl and 8-track, and Jackie and I were like, okay, the first thing we remember is cassettes. So we decided to go from the beginning and bring it as close to current as we can. So the first question we have for you all, and Jackie included, because Jackie was supposed to do some research, and one of the things about Jackie, she does like the quick research, so she might forget like 90% of the things, which is great because that makes for a great conversation. So the first question we have for you, and we don't mind if you Google, so it's okay if you want to Google, if you want to look like you knew exactly what the answer to the question was, it's okay, but we like guesstimates. So in what century was the very first type of music medium, the 78 RPM disc, available for sale? Now, we did century so that you can, feel a little bit confident with your guess. So drop in the comments what century you think it was. And in case you don't know, centuries are the ones that start with the zeros, like, 1800s, 1900s, 2000s, things like that, Okay, cool. So Jackie, your turn. Yes, Jackie's like,
sitting here, yeah. Well, it has to be the 19s. It has to be.
It has to be. And why would you say it has to be?
Because the 1800s, there weren't nothing like that. I feel like this is an easy one, and it can't be the 2000s because we was well into it at that point because we're born in 1988 and 89. So I'm going to go with the 19s.
And so we do have to say, when we talk about the centuries, you know how they do, like, they plus up? So, like, for the 1900s, it's like, it's really the 1901 to the end of that? It's like the 1900s, whereas the 1800s, I guess, would be the century before that. According to the resource that we found, which actually, let me get the resource for you all. Actually, the resource was is a website called lander.com that shared the music formats with us. Carmen Mitchell says the 1800s and Jackie said the 1900s. And it's really interesting because the actual year is 1894. But that's technically the 1900s, which I think is so annoying. Or the 19th century. The 19th century. That's what it is. They do plus up for the century, but it's actually the 1800s. So you're both right. I will give it to you. We'll give it to the both of you. There's no prizes, guys. This is just all for fun information.
So complicated. I do have to ask you, Terri, because maybe it's just me, but every time we come back from commercial, you always say, welcome back. And I want to know if you sing this song in your head.
Welcome
back. Yes, well, every time you do it, I come back, I want to sing it because I'm like...
I actually don't, and no, I think I will.
You will. I'm not alone anymore, guys.
I absolutely will probably do that. And so just to give some more context around the 19th century / 1800s. So like I mentioned, it was in 1894. It was by Emily Berliner, and that's actually a man. His company was the United States Gramophone Company, and they're credited with creating the first type of music medium, which is the 78 RPM disc, and making it available for commercial sale. I think before that it was available, but it wasn't for like, you know, the average Joe could just go out there and pick it up. It was in 1894 that it became like commercially available. So it looks like, you know, we're learning some things, y'all. Let us know in the comments if there's anything that you learned from our conversation today, because Jacky and I, we have a bunch of questions and we're probably going to end up going off on a tangent because that's one thing that Jacky and I do. And we love when you guys come into the conversation because you help us have like so many light bulb moments that we were not prepared for. So the next question, Jack, I feel like this one should be a little bit easier. Hopefully. We'll see how this goes. Audience and Jacky, what does LP stand for? No, like we said, well, Jacky can't Google because she's on the show, but y'all that are in the audience can Google and find out what LP stands for if your first guess you feel like is not the best guess. So let us know, Jacky, what you think. Actually, I'm gonna give you some time. I'm gonna let you think about it. I'm gonna let you marinate.
No, I feel like me right off the top of my head, it sounds funny, but I feel like it might be right.
Okay, go for it. You can guess.
I don't know anymore. Okay, long play, lasting play, something play.
Something play. Okay, we're gonna give the audience a moment to answer. Let us know in the comments what you believe LP stands for. And I want to say good morning to Anika DeShields. Thank you for joining us. She actually commented on our Instagram live video from last night. So if you didn't know, while we're waiting for y'all to drop your comments on what you think LP stands for, last night Jacky and I went live on Instagram to do a quick sneak peek into today's episode. So if you do follow us on Instagram, or if you don't yet follow us on Instagram, make sure you follow us. I'll bring our handles up so that you can know where to follow Jacky and I, or where to find Jacky and I on Instagram. And tonight we'll be going live once again, quick 15-minute live to just give you a little sneak peek into tomorrow's episode. So if you kind of want to get yourself ready for tomorrow's episode, make sure you check out Jacky and I on Instagram tonight at 8:30. So I see we have some responses. Jack, you said long play or latest play, right? For LP.
And now I'm thinking of like something with loading.
No, you're done. That's it. You're done. Like you can't. It's one and done. One answer.
Oh my God, this is horrible.
That's how we're doing it now. It's one answer and we're done. So it looks like Sean Smith also guessed long play. He's at question mark. And Carmen Mitchell-Jones.
Okay, so it has to be right.
So the answer is yes, long play. It was Columbia Records. They are credited as producing the very first vinyl LP record, and the year was 1948. That also comes from the Lander.com website. If you want to get a little bit more information around everything that we're talking about today, we will drop the links to the websites in the comments so that you can have them on Facebook and YouTube. And for our tweets, I believe it goes to Twitter as well. If it doesn't, we'll just repost it to the timeline so that you can do a little bit more research on your own. If there's anything that you find interesting from our convo today, let us know in the comments. All right, Jack, we got another one for him and yourself. What was the maximum capacity per side for the LP records? Now, LP is long play, so it's not like, you know, a 30-second thing. It's not even a minute thing. Best guess, first answers only, first thing that comes to your mind. When I say capacity, I'm talking about minutes. So how long was each side of an LP record? Let us know in the comments. We're going to give Jack a little bit of time to think about her best guess. She's probably trying to Google you guys, and I think that's just cheating. But it's okay because I'm giving you guys the option to cheat as well. She put her hand on it, could be in her lap, but it's okay. It's okay, Jackie. It's okay.
My phone sits in front of me. No, I was just like, okay, so it was probably like 15 tracks, and if it's long play, that's like.
Keep thinking. We have a guest from Anika this year. She thinks it's 30 minutes. So I don't know what range you were in, Jack, what you were thinking about just now, but
30 minutes isn't long.
First guess. First number that comes to your mind.
This is gonna sound so dumb.
We want to hear it. We are here for it. We're talking about the evolution of music media. Where do you think
like
they
an
start?
hour? Like an hour.
Okay, so Jack is saying 60 minutes. We have Anika Deshields with 30 minutes. I see we have another guest from Sean Smith. He says about 60 minutes on each side. So that would be like a 2 hour.
Yeah, I'm going with that.
Okay, so we have Anika Deshields. She also says yes, 30 minutes.
Because I forgot each side.
Right, it's double size, guys. Come on now. And then Carmen Mitchell-Jones says depending on the grooves, 20 to 30 minutes. So I actually think it's very interesting that y'all think LP long play is 30 minutes and 60 minutes because that definitely connects with long. It connects with that. It is actually shorter. It's very interesting that y'all thought that 30 minutes was like long play. The actual maximum capacity per side for the LP records was 23 minutes per side. So Carmen Mitchell-Jones, you had the closest guess, 23 minutes. Yeah, imagine that. Like 23
So I'm gonna have to get out the shower to start it because my showers are longer than 23 minutes. Or wet, like.
And try not to get water on your LP record. Like I don't even think you should be getting water on a vinyl record.
No,
you absolutely shouldn't. So imagine back in that day, like, so that's how you timed your shower. If you were taking more than one side of the record, you're in there too long. You need to get out.
I should know this. It's like it's in every old school like action movie where they're like setting off bombs. They usually use a vinyl record to like start the domino effect. I should know this stuff. We
should, but listen, that's what today's episode is all about. We're going through the evolution of music media if you're just joining us. And so we're talking about all things music media, audio formats, music storage, from vinyl to online streaming. We've asked a few questions of Jackie and the audience. It's really just about us learning information about something that we probably engage with every single day. So the next one is actually an image. So I'm going to show you all this image. And I want you to guess what, hold on, let me get the screen up so that I can show that first. So here is the image. And what my question is for you is what medium is known as the first thing to resemble the modern cassette player? So this image right here is what resembles the very first cassette player or the modern day cassette player. So I guess you could call this the very first cassette player. So let us know in the comments what you think this is called. And I want you to be as crazy as you can be with your guess. I really thought that I had seen it all when it came to music and when it came to all things back in the day. And when I came across this, I was like, no one's going to get this. So we're definitely, but if you look closely at the image, there's kind of a hint on the actual device. So let us know in the comments. And if you are like, okay, Terri, that's just team too much, let us know in the comments and I will definitely give you the answer. But I really want to see if someone gets this, even if they Google it. I just feel like this is one of those things that your great grandparent had. And they were like, I remember when I used to listen to my music on this.
The fact that
it's the best thing rocking. Like you
have to. So I have to be honest, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this was I thought this was a defibrillator.
Not a defibrillator, but
I was just like, whose life are we saving?
We're saving the people that do not enjoy music. So it looks like
that plays a cassette tape. Oh, tape recorder?
Well, Carmen Mitchell is guessing a tape recorder. She said, Monica Dunstan says her granny had an 8-track player, but it didn't look like that, so she has no idea. LOL. And Anika said fail. So I'm just definitely going to share with y'all what it is, because I knew it would be difficult because it's none of us have ever seen this before in our lives. The name of this device is a teflon. So if you look on the left of the screen, it says Tefi.
Okay.
Teflon. But apparently this medium was the first thing to resemble the modern day cassette player. So our cassette players were built or redeveloped from this particular device. So shout out to, I can't remember who developed this, but it was definitely one of those things like ain't nobody seen that before a day in their life. And it is what it is. It looks like you have some support, Jackie, from Shortsmith. He said, y'all
3 for 3.
Y'all were both like, whose life are we saving? So we're talking music, Terri.
I know music saves lives and it brings us together and stuff, but what is that? What are those?
What are those? If you are just joining us, Jackie and I are talking about the evolution of music media. We're going from vinyl to online streaming. The Tefi was definitely a curveball that I wanted to throw in there just so that y'all can see how far we have come. So let's move on to another question that we have for the audience. One of the things that we talked about earlier was the length of the LP record. And so I wanted to ask you all, what feature of the cassette tape improved the listener experience? Because we talked about so many things related to music thus far in our personal conversation last week, as well as on Instagram last night. So I want y'all to have a think. What feature of the cassette tape do you think improved the listener's music experience? And this, we're talking music. We're talking listening to music, guys. I'm trying to drop y'all some subliminal hints. I don't know if you're catching them, but hopefully you are. Let us know in the comments what feature you think improved the listener's experience. Jack is going to try. And I don't know, we're not even keeping score for Jackie today, y'all. We're not even going to keep score for this. This is really just a little fun.
I have to say, it's going to sound like ridiculous, but I'd have to say the evolution of cars, because now I can play it in my car and keep it moving.
That's an interesting one.
I'm going to have to like spin it a little bit and be like, you know what? I can walk around with it. I can go for a drive and you just pop it in and press play.
So I love these comments that we have coming in. So Sean Smith says headphone bass. So he thinks the feature that was added was, giving us that bass. And we had the cassette tape. Monica Dunstan says the rewind. That's an interesting one. That's actually pretty interesting. And then Carmen Mitchell-Jones says the portability of the tape. So as you're joining us, go ahead and let us know your answers to this question. I can say that in doing this research, one of the things that I realized that I take a lot of things for granted that feels so natural, that feels so commonplace, because Jackie and I probably started with the cassette tape player, the Walkman. And look, that's actually what Anika DeShield says, Walkman with bass. And some of these things I just didn't really think about. It's like, it is what it is. Like, I'm just used to it. Like, this is normal. This is commonplace. So it's actually interesting that none of y'all guessed what feature actually improved the listener experience. And the answer is, I thought y'all would have got it.
More space?
Yes. It's
I still got time.
Audio storage capacity. So if you were just joining us, when I asked the question around, what was the maximum capacity for the LP records per side? And the answer was 23. And the feature that improved the listener experience was longer audio storage. We went from 23 minutes to 45 minutes. So not quite the 60 minutes that I believe yourself and Sean Smith thought it would have been. It was actually only 45 minutes, which is actually sustainably longer, especially when you're thinking about, Jack is shower time. Apparently it's over 23 minutes. Maybe it's less than 45 minutes.
Disgusting. Honestly, it's disgusting.
If you are just joining us, Jackie and I are talking about the evolution of music media from vinyl to online streaming. Do make sure you drop in the comments your answers to some of these questions. Actually, not some, all of these questions, because that is what today's show is all about. We hope you are learning some things that are new as far as it relates to music media. Let us know in the comments if you have learned anything new so far, or if some of these answers you feel like I kind of knew that, but I went to test you guys. It's okay if you want to like pretend that you knew. It's okay, we get it. Next question, Jack.
New.
Everything is new, right? Next question, Jack. This one should be easy, I think. I hope. Which was first, the cassette tape or the 8-track? And I don't know if this is
which was first, the chicken or the egg.
I don't know if it's one of those type of questions. Like, I really don't know, but I hope it's not. But maybe it is. We'll see. We'll see when y'all answer. So, first, the cassette. The first thing that you think was first,
the cassette.
All right. So I see we have some responses. Monica Dunstan is saying 8-track. So is Anika DeShields.
Oh, she said her granny had it. So yeah, the 8-track.
So is Sean Smith, and I think Janae is also saying 8-track, and I think Jackie, she said, Janae, yeah, she meant 8. Yeah, we got it. We got you, Janae. It's okay. We figured that might have been a little typo. Sometimes, the keyboard does a little thing on us sometimes, so we get it. Carmen Jen says 8-track, but there was also a 4-track. And Jackie guessed cassette. She was the lone soldier out there guessing cassette. And it looks like Jackie stumped you out. Jackie got it right. So according to our resources, the cassettes were invented by the Philips Company in 1962-1963, and they were introduced to Europe at the Berlin Radio Show. The 8-track was created in 1964 by a consortium led by Bill Lear of Learjet Corporation, as well as Ampex, Ford Motor Company, General Motors, Motorola, and RCA Victor Records, which became RCA Radio Corporation of America. And so,
that's a mouthful.
It was a mouthful, but I wanted to give you guys that backstory because I was actually surprised. My initial thought was 8-track. I was like, it's got to be the 8-track. That's so old. I don't even think I've never seen an 8-track like to use. I've seen it like in pictures, but I've never seen it to like plug it in and press play. And I thought that was interesting that the cassette was actually invented and introduced before the 8-track. So it was surprising. However, I did read in the research that they were kind of both developed around the same time. Like, so the idea for both of them started around the same time. The cassette just was released first. So the cassette beat the 8-track. Very interested. I think was it Monica? She mentioned something about a 4-track, which I didn't notice in my research. Carmen. But I definitely Carmen. Oh, my apologies, Carmen. Yeah, I definitely wanted to check that because that was interesting. I never heard of a 4-track, which I guess that's like 50 Cent. Bitty bub. That's my corny joke for the day.
Not as I'm drinking.
That was my corny joke of the day. So it looks like Anika DeShields says she had a Walkman 8-track player. So she had best of both worlds. Anika was over there just living her best life, trying to like make sure she covered both sides of the coins. And I live for it. I am living. So Jack, I got another question for y'all. Okay. And I'm very interested to see what y'all guess for this one. So, question. What technology do CDs, DVDs, and Blu-rays have in common? Now, you got to do a little bit of critical thinking here. What do these 3 things have in common?
They can all be played on a PlayStation 2.
A PlayStation 2, not one, guys.
And a 1, but specifically a 2.
Okay, I'm not even a PlayStation.
I had a PlayStation 1 and 2, and when my mom used to be like, go to your room, and I'm like, okay. And I'd have my TV to play DVDs for my PlayStation 1, and my PlayStation 2, and then I'll play my games on my PlayStation 1, rather than PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2. They can play on the PlayStation 1 still.
So, but Jackie's answer was PlayStation, guys. For the record, it's always the first thing that she says. It's never the second thing that she says. Never,
so it's always the joke and never the logical sentence. Okay?
It's always the joke, okay? Just so you guys know the level playing field that you are playing at, that's how this works. It's definitely the first answer. So we have some answers coming in. Monica Dunstan is saying a laser. Carmen is saying a laser as well. And Sean Smith is also on the joke tip. He says they are flat and silver.
Oh,
so the answer, Carmen and Monica both got it right. It was laser disc technology, and it was very interesting when you think about it because they basically were developed off of each other, right? The CD came first, then DVD and Blu-ray were basically next. And what the Laserdisc technology is, it's a home video format, and it was first commercially designed. It is the first commercial optical disc storage medium. So basically the idea of the disc, like the CD disc, not necessarily the cassette tape, the 8-track. I think the grandfather of the CD would be the vinyl. So just a little bit of, background information about that. And another fun fact about CDs, DVDs, and Blu-rays is that this type of technology, the Laserdisc technology, was sold and marketed as MCA DiscoVision in 1978. So that's around the time when this first came out. So shout outs to the people that created this technology, because we are enjoying them still to this day, and we talk about them. I think for Jacky and I generation, CDs are now old. Like CDs and DVDs are now like the thing that you would have as like a collector's item, which I think for me it's more of the CD case, like the insert that we used to get. That for me is more of a collectible than probably the CD, because I would just stream it. But so it goes.
I still have some DVDs that I keep around, but they're Disney.
Oh, so definitely limited
collectibles editions. Yeah, the limited editions that literally they came out the vault, and I'm like, get it. Those ones.
Yeah, when they come out the vault, you got to get them, because otherwise they're gonna go back in the vault.
Yeah, like Alice in Wonderland, Aladdin. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what else went back in the book, but I know those two came out, and I was just like, buy them.
And buy them you did. So it looks like, Sheldon, you actually guessed it right as well. So shout outs to everyone who is playing along with us today. Whether you get it right or get it wrong, it's really just about, learning a little bit about music. Media, which is what Jacky and I are talking about. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the evolution of music media from vinyl to online streaming. We have a couple more questions before we get into our feel good vibe of the day. So do make sure you stick around for that feel good vibe of the day, because it's joke time with Jacky, and I'm gonna try to guess this time. So I've been playing with Jacky today, trying to see if she could get these answers right, but then she's gonna try to one up me with the jokes. So stick around for that. This next question, I think this one will be pretty easy for most people. In what year did the MP3 file format become popular? And we talked about this kind of on our live last night when we talked about LimeWire. And we talked about how we were like so into downloading music on LimeWire and other websites and apps that we probably will not name because we might get in trouble. However, answer this question. In what year did the MP3 file format become popular?
Early 2000s.
First guess. Okay, Jacky's saying early 2000s. It looks like Shouting Eugene Fox the second is saying the same thing, early thousands. Let us know in the comments.
Like 2000.
Go ahead, give me a number. Okay, so Jack is saying 2003 or 4. If you want to give me an exact number, or you want to kind of not cheat, but if you want to cover your bases and say the early thousands, let me know. Or maybe you want to say the 1990s. Definitely gonna go back to the 1980s, because then at that point, I'm a question if you're really
paying attention,
or if you're just trying to mess with us. If you're trying to mess with us. So let us know in the comments what year you think the MP3 file format became popular. We just give you a major hint. LimeWire and those applications were definitely some things that were popular in that time as well. It looks like Carmen Mitchell-Jones is also saying the early 2000s. And so I'll go ahead and give you all this answer as you're possibly still thinking about it. Just the first number you think of, drop it in the comments. Because, oh wait, let me stop sharing this. Oh, look, we have one from Kenton. He says 2001. Feel free to keep dropping your answers, and I'm going to give y'all the answer. Oh wait, look, Sean Smith says, I will say the 90s. All right, so we have someone who's not in the 2000s, which I was actually kind of waiting for. I would see someone else would go against the grain, go against the rest of you. The answer.
But wait, how are we categorizing? I'm shaking. The 90s. Remember the 90s conversation? Like, how are we categorizing this? Because I thought I was in the 90s, maybe, but apparently I'm not.
You're absolutely not. But as we move, the answer to this, which I find interesting, is 1999. That is when it was actually originally developed in the early 80s by researcher, I'm not going to pronounce his name correctly, but we're going to say Carl Brandenburg, and it was introduced to the mainstream in 1992, but it became popular on the turn of the new millennium. So the 1999 was the year. So
I'm still right. You know why? Because Bermuda gets everything late. So technically,
See, look at Jacky trying to give herself a point. And we had a answer from Anika. She said 1998-ish, which we'll give it to definitely Sean Smith and Anika Shields. Jacky, she didn't have it. We had one more question, but we're running out of time, so we'll go ahead and we'll ask that on our social media. So if you're not already following us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and we'll probably put up on, we'll try to figure out how to put up on YouTube, but make sure you follow us on definitely Instagram and Twitter, because that's where we'll post it up. Jacky, it's joke time. I'm ready. I'm going to guess the best I can, because I've definitely put you through the paces today. So I feel like it's my turn.
But I feel like you can get this one so easily. What do you call it when Batman skips church?
When Batman skips church? A Robin Hood?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. I don't know Batman's name. That's interesting.
Still funny to me.
Sips tea.
What did the red light say to the green light?
You're it?
Don't look, I'm changing.
That one was good. I love that one.
I hope you're not gonna get this one, but I'm still gonna say
I'm not, anyway. But I'm gonna try.
Okay.
What do you get it?
You are? Okay,
I'm gonna get it.
No, I'm not gonna do that one. Okay, what do you call a royal goat wearing denim?
A royal goat wearing denim. Sir Billy Goat.
Billie Jean King.
That was hilarious. Audience, as always, make sure you hit a reaction if you found Jacky's jokes funny. If you found my responses funny, because some of those I was really trying. I was definitely grasping at straws. As always, we hope that the good vibe of the day has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for another feel-good conversation. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.